Hello everybody. So for today's lesson we're going to be going back to our vocabulary notebook format, our template, and I'm going to show you some of the elements that I'm seeing over and over again that are either missing or are done incorrectly. So I'm going to go through this page 1 of this vocabulary template, and I'm going to take you through some of the things that I noticed. So our word for our new word, and this will be word 4, is quiche. Quiche. The sentence where it was found: a delicious quiche sat on the table. And you'll notice that it does have quotation marks at the end because that shows that the sentence came from someone else's text. So the next step is the dictionary definition, which is a pie made primarily of eggs and cream in a pastry crust. One of the areas that I'm noticing that a lot of kids are forgetting to do or not knowing how to do is part of speech. In class and in remote, we've been talking about parts of speech, words like noun, verb, adjective, adverb, etc. And pronunciation guide is how do you say it? How would it be pronounced? What letter sounds does it make? So because quiche is a pie, that makes it a noun. It is a thing. And it is pronounced quiche, K-E-E-S-H. So those are the letter sounds that particular word makes. So the next step, which I'm finding a lot of kids leave this big empty space open, we have an illustration. What does a quiche look like? Well, it looks like a pie, and I put a broken egg just to show you that it's made of eggs. The next two, most people get pretty well, the synonyms and antonyms, but this is one that actually came from a student today, and I want to show you some tricks that you can use if you're struggling with finding a word in a thesaurus or even on Word Hippo, other words for or antonyms. So synonyms, the definition says it is a pie made primarily of eggs and cream. So because it's a pie, the word pie can be a synonym. Because a pie is something that we eat, it can also be considered food. So you're probably not going to find a quiche in a thesaurus because it's a very specific noun. So here's where the problem is. This student said antonyms of quiche would be city and cow. Those have nothing to do with food. So we want to think about words that are not quiche, but are still in the right food family. So because quiche is a pie, what kind of food is it not? Well, it's not a pizza, even though we often call pizza a pie, a pizza pie. It's not spaghetti, because spaghetti is a kind of food, but it's not a quiche. So we want to keep it in the family of words that it belongs in. Because a quiche is a pie, and a pie is a kind of food, your antonyms really need to fit in that word family. So when I think about kinds of food that quiche is not, it's not pizza, it's not spaghetti, it's not a burger, but it is a kind of food. So it is food, it is a pie, but it's not a burger, a pizza, or spaghetti. So the next page, we're going to look at how to use it in a sentence and how to find examples of that word. So here's a sentence. It's a complete sentence that uses the word quiche, but let's listen. I had a quiche. Well, if you had no idea what the word quiche meant, then that word quiche could mean absolutely anything. It could mean that you had a special kind of a mysterious little pet. It could be a kind of a toy. It could be a kind of clothing. So this sentence does not use enough context clues. So I'm going to show you how to add enough information so that it's clear what the meaning of the word is within the sentence. So here I've added additional information. So because we want our reader to know that quiche is food, so I'm going to add some clue words that let you know that quiche is a food. So I've I've added to my sentence, and I've given context clues. I had a quiche for lunch filled with ham, eggs, and cheese. So it still may not create the idea that it's a pie, but at least the reader knows that this thing called the quiche is made out of ham, eggs, and cheese. So you're getting closer to the actual meaning of what quiche is all about. So the last part is this is the one that gives everyone the most problems. Finding two examples of what a word is like. So a quiche is a very, very specific thing. So what are two examples of what a quiche is like? Well, a quiche is like an egg pie. And maybe a synonym for an egg pie, a quiche is like an egg tart. So you try to think about what examples, what is your word like? I actually make quiche, so another type of example of a quiche, one of my favorite kinds is called quiche Lorraine. That's an actual recipe that includes spinach and ham and eggs and cheese in a pie crust. So this is a specific example. So when you're doing your examples, do not just list two more synonyms. Try to think of nouns, things that your word is like. So hopefully this clears up a few of the problems that you've been having when you do your vocabulary words. I do send them back when you have problems. So remember, you have 8 parts. Don't forget to do page 2, which is write the word in your own sentence and find 2 examples of what your word is like. So good luck, and word 4 is your next assignment.